Hello, my name is Sandy Adamitis, the social media director for the Page International Screenwriting Awards, and your host for the Writers Hangout, a podcast that celebrates the many stages of writing, from inspiration to the first draft, revising, getting a project made, and everything in between. We'll talk to the best and the brightest in the entertainment industry and create a space where you can hang out, learn from the pros, and have fun.
We're rolling.
Hi, I'm Sandy Adamitis.
Hi, I'm Terry Sampson.
Pretty exciting times, Terry. The Olympics.
You gotta love them.
Have you been watching?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the women's rugby team. They got a bronze, which they've never medaled before. So they played really great. In the end, if you haven't seen the end of the bronze medal championship game, it's a must-see. It's ridiculous.
And I tell you, these athletes are not only hustling on the mat and the track, they are Instagram wizards, influencers. The kids are all out there in the village doing just really fun Instagram posts. I came across this Instagram page that I have just fallen in love with, Terry. It's called Over Here LA. And it's basically people overhear stuff in LA and they write in and they make memes of it. For example, at LAX, father, where is your mom? Daughter, the TSA agent flagged down mom's bag because they thought her detox coconut powder was cocaine. Another one. I'm fighting with my boss because she's trying to pay me in sound bowls instead of cash. That's so LA. But they did this meme about the Olympics, and this is what I wanted to share with you. This is things in LA that should be Olympic events.
Okay.
This needs a skill level of 1,000. Understanding LA street parking signs.
Yeah, man. No kidding.
It is tough. This one has been my Achilles heel. The cracked sidewalk hurdle.
Yeah.
I've gone down many a time. How about you with your bike?
No problems with that, because I'm going to be on the flip side of that, because if we didn't have those bumps in the sidewalk, we'd have no shade.
Oh, because it's the roots of the tree that are...
tree.
Yes. Okay.
So I love that. So
cool. Things in LA that should be Olympic events. Getting through that intersection. You know what intersection terrifies me? Near the Beverly Hills Hotel in Beverly Hills, that intersection is the size of Paris.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like 8-way intersection.
Right.
I hate that one.
Why do they have that?
I don't know. It's terrifying. I mean, Beverly Hills is kind of sleepy almost when you think about it, because all the buildings are very low and
meticulously cared for. There's never a leaf out of place.
And then, no, there isn't. And then there's that giant intersection. Just reminds me of Rome, where they all go around in a circle. I just go. Oh, I just pray. And
you and everybody else. You turn to the person next to you and go, here we go.
Here we go.
And then you just hit the gas and you try to find that one slot that you were looking for, because there's all these options.
Okay. Next one. How many celebrities you can see in one day? Now that's a sport.
Okay.
For me, my favorite sighting is when you have relatives who come into town and they see a celebrity on the first day.
Oh.
Gets it out of the way. They'll stop asking for the rest of the time. Is that Suzanne Summers? I haven't done that. Okay. Here's one that has got to be an Olympic sport. And they've got 4 versions of this. Parking at literally any Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
100, yes. Maneuvering in a Trader Joe's parking lot.
I can't believe they don't have more accidents.
Finding parking at a Trader Joe's parking lot. Yeah. Trader Joe's on a Sunday eve. Never even tried it.
No.
Trader Joe's is a local market for us that the staff wear Hawaiian shirts, and they're very friendly, and they have really decent, healthy, inexpensive food.
They didn't really go crazy during the pandemic. They kept their prices about the same.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's why we became even bigger fans.
It is so weird. In Southern California, no matter where they put a Trader Joe's, the parking lot is the size of a postage stamp.
I don't get it.
I really like this one. LA things that should be an Olympic event. ordering the right amount of small plates designed to share. That's an art form.
Wow, yeah.
You've got 5 people and the dumplings only have 4. So you get 2 order of dumplings, 3 order of dumplings, because you are going to get other plates. Okay, I think that one means a little bit more to me than Terry.
Yeah.
How about this one? LA things that should be Olympic events. Doing your commute on the freeways versus local streets. Who gets there first?
Right.
This is my event.
Yeah.
I have trained for this.
Right.
I know how to get from my apartment in Studio City to Lantana in 45 minutes using back roads going by the Playboy Mansion.
Oh, well. So sightseeing included.
I will get there first.
Wow.
LA things that should be Olympic events. Longest CVS receipt without tearing it. Also known as ribbon dancing. Terry, shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
For today's show, we're going to go through 10 quotes of successful writers on screenwriting. All right, number 1 is Ashley Farrow, a British writer. Do you know we're doing well in the UK?
I can't believe that.
They are fans of ours, and we love them. Now, Ashley Farrow was the creator of Life on Mars, Wild at Heart, and created Around the World in 80 Days. This is his quote. I am a great believer in having a calling card script. I had one that never got made about the surfing industry in Cornwall. A producer said that the first page would cost $1 million to make, but it got me in meetings with EastEnders. Another tip is to be ready to answer the question, why should this be made now?
Oh, wow.
It's a smart question.
Now so he's ready to answer that question?
He has that answer ready.
Wow.
He has it in his hip pocket. Pew, 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 pew.
And if the answer is, I stole the idea from 3 other people.
And I needed to get it to you first.
We need to do it now.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yes.
What are you doing this afternoon? Let's shoot.
Also about having a calling card script. I think we brought this up when we were talking about the Page Awards contest a couple weeks ago. If you have a script that doesn't sell, but that's a script that you can send out as a writing sample and people love it, like perhaps they don't want to make it because the first page cost $1 million, but they go, my goodness, this writer has an amazing imagination. It's good. You have not wasted a moment writing that script.
Right. I mean,
Yes.
It's funny. What if you have a really great idea and it's just a little pricey?
I think the really great idea is going to win out.
I'd hope so.
Number 2, Andrew Marlowe. He wrote Air Force One. Get off my plane. New writers tend to overwrite and explain. Get off my plane right now. That's 500,000 feet in the air. New writers tend to overwrite and explain everything as opposed to hooking people with mystery. They'll have 2 pages of background instead of just the provocative line that makes us want to know more about the characters. That keeps us as an audience leaning forward and engaged in storytelling.
Yeah, I agree with that. Movement of story is what keeps people reading.
The audience loves to figure things out, and they love to think that they are one step ahead of the screenwriter and the people they're sitting with in in watching the movie.
Right.
Another way of saying that, less is more. Keep the audience guessing. You don't have to reveal the whole story and all of your character at once. I do see this when I'm reading scripts because writers are told to pack a punch in the first 3 pages because the reader will get bored and put their script aside. And so sometimes they'll mix that up with, well, I'm going to have my lead in a hurricane, saving a baby, and also explaining why they quit college. Number 4. Lauren McKenna. Now, Lauren was a former story manager at Pixar, and she was involved in Up, Ratatouille, Inside Out, and Brave. That's nice resume,
Yeah.
Lauren. I advise writers to find their group, their people. I like to build communities and be part of communities and be in a place where I can be vulnerable and tell the truth and support other people in telling their truth. This is key to our survival as writers, especially now, to be able to see other people. Find your tribe, find your people. How do writers do that?
That's a great question. Wish I could answer it.
Writers group?
Could be.
Join a class, a community college. Even if you feel like you know formatting and screenwriting, why not take a formatting and screenwriting course or a creative English course?
Right. And then there's the friends you make who you admire, and then that's sort of how you learn from.
Absolutely. Social media. I see it with the Page Awards. Writers on Twitter get to know each other, and they're all read each other's scripts and give each other notes. And when we announce people that are moving on in the contest, they're supporting. And I cannot tell you how many times I see the message like, Angela, I didn't make it to the next round, but your script is one of the best scripts I've ever read.
Isn't that nice?
They're so generous and kind to each other. So get on Twitter and offer to read other people's scripts, take a class, start a writer's group, start your own writer's group if you can't find one online.
Good advice.
Number 5, Penn Densham, another British writer, and he produced Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I always tell people to write dangerously, write like a moth to a flame. Get as close to that flame of fear before, as you are writing, you are creating things out of the pieces you thought were not appropriate or people wouldn't understand. That's the voice that gets noticed and reinforces your strength because you are writing richer each time and you will fight for those scripts. You will push beyond your own anxiety when the script is coming out of your nature and it is not just a commodity. So finding your voice, writing dangerously. What does writing dangerously mean to you, Terry?
Well, I'd like to think what he's talking about is write from an imbalance. So you aren't certain about, you're not being safe. But I'm not really hooked into the word dangerously. I think what he is that good things will come out of the struggle to make something good. How do you think of the word dangerously works?
For me, it means revealing parts of yourself that you're scared to. So say you're a bulimic and you're writing a script where there's a bulimic. And we all know typical bulimic scenes. I'm just trying to think. Someone excuses themselves from the table and they go into the restroom and everybody at the table kind of knows something up. So maybe you do something as a bulimic that is so personal, and that's in the script. If you are writing about a serial killer, you can be dangerous with the words, with the graphic words and the blood and all that kind of stuff. But I think of it as getting into the mind of a serial killer.
I know a writer who wrote about cancer and had beaten cancer. And this person told me they felt that in the script.
Wow.
So
that's powerful. Okay. Drew Jarrett. He became an industry leader of short form digital. He is the writer behind King Esther. And this is what he says. Sending your script to family and friends is not going to get you to the pro level you want to be. Script consultants have no knowledge of you and give a very objective point of view. I would send scripts to 3 different services and take note of any feedback that is consistent. One of the problems with this quote is script services are expensive and they are absolutely worthwhile. So it should be couched in if you can afford to send your script out, absolutely do it. And if every script consultant comes back and says main character is not active, you got to do something about that. So it is a good way. And again, I think it's hard sometimes to rely on family members to read scripts because
they love you.
Yeah, they love you. And it's boring to read the third draft of something, especially if it hasn't changed very much. Number 7, Ron Shelton. Ron Shelton, I believe, really had his day in the 90s. He wrote Bull Durham.
Okay.
And Stepmom and a plethora of screenplays. I have been sent hundreds of scripts from wannabe writers over the years, and not one good one has ever landed on my desk. Go back, get better, learn the craft. learn the craft.
Wow.
Ron just
Ron tells it like it is.
Ron just telling it like it is. Writers, remember, do not send your first or your second script to industry insiders that you make connections with. You are so excited. You went to a screening. You got lucky. Steven Spielberg was in the elevator. He thought it was adorable that you said, will you read my script? And you send him your first draft of A Cow's Holiday. And it is terrible because it's your first draft.
And it's about cows.
It's 340 pages.
And
There's
handful of moos.
no cows.
No cows.
You get excited. I can't let this opportunity pass. It's not worth it. It's gonna explode in your face. Many screenwriters try to push screenplays that are not ready or push themselves in their writing when they're not prepared. It's better to take your time and learn the craft of writing. Meg LaFath, she is the writer of Inside Out and Captain Marvel. This is a bit on the longer side, but I really liked it, so I included it in our 10 quotes for today. This is from Meg. I just open a document and start brain dumping everything I can think of, all my questions, all my inspirations, all my ideas. Then I go back and read over it and cull it and add more questions, more ideas. Eventually, I hopefully find a core. At least I have the pulse of the character. She's going to start here and she's going to end there. This is the main relationship. This is the world and some of its rules as she sees it. So then I hopefully know or have some idea about the basic engine parts of the story, the pieces that I need to have in Act 1 to propel to Act 2, and emotionally what I think it's about. The next step is I open a new document and do what I call a barf draft. I just puke it all out. I don't stop. I don't worry if it's right or wrong. I don't worry if, oh God, I just had a new character walk in. Great if they just walked in. I just let them come on out.
She should tell her family when barf day comes up, though.
This raw draft is the clay that I pulled up from the riverbed. Now, okay, given all of this, what actually is the story? Because suddenly a new character showed up and the story just got completely pivoted over to this direction. That's much better. Let's do that story. That's a completely different plot. But I had to go through this first raw draft to get to that plot.
It's interesting. I've never worked that way in any way, shape, or form. And so it's so unique to, I never even thought of doing that. She would think, what's all the things that could happen? And she writes them all down. I would be frightened by that amount of information.
And that's her. That's how her brain works. If it works for you writers, absolutely go do it.
I understand she's done well, so it will work. Yeah.
Number 9. Number 9. This is from Chris Turner, who is a writer on home economics and the Bernie Mac show. Oh, we lost Bernie Mac.
Way too soon.
Yes. You can read stories about screenwriters and how tough it is. You hear about the screenplay that was rejected by everyone under the sun except, this one guy. And you only need one. You only need one person to buy it. That can really help a screenwriter on a cold, dark night.
It's the coffee of the moment.
Number 10, Jane Anderson. She wrote The Positively True Adventures of the Alleged Texas Cheerleading Murdering Mom, Oliver Kittredge, and The Wife. If you have a really wonderful original story, people will jump on it. Boom, mic drop.
Yep.
It's all about that great idea. If there's one single piece of advice to impart on novice screenwriters, it would be to focus on writing original story ideas. Give Hollywood what they didn't know they wanted.
Yeah. You made a good point in which Twister started that way, that maybe the script wasn't all there, but he had a great idea and there it went.
Storm Chasers.
Yep.
Probably not the best
It's
ending.
not so bad.
It's not the best.
We usually try to get something funny on the way out, but how about that?
How about those Olympics?
And that's a wrap for the Writers Hangout. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Your positive feedback will help us keep the show going so we can continue bringing you more future episodes. Remember, keep writing. The world needs your stories. The Writers Hangout is sponsored by the Page International Screenwriting Awards with executive producer Kristen Overn, producer Sandy Adamitis, and myself, Terry Sampson. And our music is composed by Ethan Stoller.